And we are back with a Beyond the BS episode. um, Hope you guys are doing good. Before we begin, in the description below, make sure you guys do check out the VPN service. Make sure you guys get hooked up. And yeah, make sure you guys just get hooked up pretty good. You guys got to protect yourself and just protect yourself before you wreck yourself.
And we always shout out Buzz TV, always amazing products and customer support. They've just recently released their Buzz TV 5 app. So if you are a current customer, you should be seeing an update too. And there's always good stuff coming from them. So make sure you check out buzztvglobal.com.
Oh, show. So today's episode is called The Good, the Bad, and Beyond the BS. Make sure you guys, when you guys do come to good old YouTube, look at our playlists. Just going through them, cleaning them up a little bit, trying to make them a little bit more streamlined. So if you want gaming, you'll find that. If you want crypto, you'll find that. Streaming, interviews, you'll find it. Beyond the BS is going to be where our story times live in. So anytime we run into something, or if we're playing with some tech or whatever we just want to talk about, that's our place to do whatever the hell we want. So I know you were wondering about my truck.
Yeah.
And you were just like, let's talk about it. I'm like, no, we should record it.
No.
So here we go. Yeah. So okay, so check this out. I get a call, and the last place, if you guys have been following the story of what's been going on with my truck, I'll give you a quick rundown. I bought a Pioneer DH 8600 WT, I think it is. It's the one. It's like a 10.1 screen floating tablet looking thing from Pioneer. It's one of the best stereo units out there. Everybody tells me the same thing. I would have not sold you this. Everybody tells me the exact same thing. I would have not sold you this. So my truck, when I first got it, it had a very small screen, maybe like half the size, like a 5 point something inch screen. It was good. Backup camera looked super clean on it. I had Android Auto. You could do the Apple CarPlay, whatever it's called. I had OnStar. Dude, the built-in Wi-Fi in that truck is amazing. Some really good features on that thing. So why did I upgrade? That's always the question. Why would you upgrade something when you have something really good? I wanted to plug in a Fire Stick. And I wanted to, well, you know the things you can do on a Fire Stick. Wanted to have that in my truck. Go to the place, and I said, I want to be able to plug in my Fire Stick into my stereo unit. They said, cool, we got the best one for you. This is the one that will do it for you. Nothing else will do it for you. And of course, when I was doing my research on stereo places, I did want to go to one called Al and Ed's in Ontario, but it was a little bit of a drive, and I got to Uber back and forth. Not going to be cheap. It's about a 30, 40-minute drive. The one that I found is maybe like a 10-minute drive. So the Uber would have been a lot cheaper. So I go to this place, and I don't want to mention names of where I took it to or whatever. I don't want to ruin their reputation. But this place, I spent some good money on some speakers and stereo unit, and I did the full 9 on everything. They didn't install everything properly, and I was getting this weird. So my biggest thing that I had was I was getting a sensor error notification, right? When they install a stereo, they have a brain before you see your head unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how stereos work, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay. So the brain, let's pretend my cell phone's the brain. So I'm holding it parallel to the ground. You typically put it in your truck or car parallel to the ground, right? Well, they didn't put it parallel to the ground. They put it in like this.
I don't even understand how they could do that. Like usually there's just like it's pretty standard.
You would think. And that's why everybody says I wouldn't have sold you this unit because you're not able to put it in like that. They have other units with different brains that would have been smaller. Right behind my screen on my truck, that's where all my ventilation system goes. So it's not like they can cut through it because there goes my AC and my heater, and it's going to be blowing onto the brain on it. You know what I mean? Imagine turning on my heater and it's blowing heat onto the brain. Thing's going to blow up. So if this is my head unit, they put it in like this. Here's the problem though. That head unit, when you put it parallel to the ground, it's kind of like a compass, right? Like these new ones have like built-in compasses. If you don't hold it flat on your hand to see where north is pointing at, and if you hold it right side up, right? Is that what it'd be called? It's not horizontal, but vertical.
Sure.
It's going to be pointing weird, right? So the stereo, the brain on my truck actually thought that I was driving my truck into the ground. It thought that the wheels was up on its ass. So I was getting a sensor error saying sensor error.
Stop flipping your car.
Stop flipping your car upside down. And it would happen within 5 minutes of me driving. So, and there was a whole spew of other things. When I took it to Alan Ed's, one of the biggest things that he did, it's funny. He opens up he lifts up the carpet to see what's underneath, to see how the cables are, and it looks like freaking spaghetti everywhere.
Oh my God.
No cable management, right? They took the head unit off and they found the brain, vertical instead of horizontal, right? Is this horizontal? I always mix that up.
Yeah.
Horizontal is parallel to the ground, vertical is up and down. So they had it up and down. When they removed it, there's this little GPS thing that you plug into the brain. They had that thing sitting inside. There was this little plastic that they cut out, and they had it sitting in there right side up, like how it's supposed to. So problem with being inside where all my units at, sometimes the GPS won't track it. So long story short, these guys went in there, took everything apart, and did a fresh installation. Big shout out to one of our subscribers, Angel. He commented on one of our last videos. By the way, make sure you guys do leave us a comment because we are going in there. We are commenting back. And based on your comment and based on the conversations that we're having, you might even get it pinned as one of our featured comments. So make sure you guys leave us a good one. Leave us a good one. So big shout out to Angel. Angel's been helping me out and getting all this stuff going. And so what they did, so check this out. Dropped off my truck. They called me, said, hey, it's ready to go within an hour. Come by. I said, cool. I get down there and we go to my truck and he wanted to show me all the features, right? So I put the key in to turn on the power, not to turn on the truck, not to turn the engine over, just to power.
What do they call that? Accessory or something? Accessory mode?
Yeah, accessory mode.
Yeah.
So thing turns on and he was telling me like, oh, your thing with Apple. I was like, whoa, time out. I don't have Apple. I don't have Apple.
Red flag.
Just like, oh, they're like, oh, I was gonna tell you that with your Apple, if you had Apple, or if anybody in your car that has Apple, they could actually do screen mirroring. You put this little adapter thing in there, and now you have screen mirroring. And I'm thinking like, okay, cool. I don't have Apple. Can I do this on my phone? They're like, yeah, you can. And then I was thinking like, wait a minute. I don't want to do that on my phone anyway. But like, why would I want to do that on my phone? No. And then I said, let me turn on the truck real quick, like turn on the power because I don't want this thing to drain my battery, right? I turn the key over. The stereo unit stays on. Now, here's the thing. And some of you people are wondering, like, okay, what's the big deal? When the other place installed it, the unit would turn on. If I turned the truck on, if I turned it over, the key, and the engine turned on, it would shut it off and then turn it back on.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Right.
But I was getting so used to that.
That it was a big deal for you.
It was huge.
Oh my God. I was like, what are you, where are you going with this?
It was huge. It was a big deal. I forgot that stereo, once you put the key in the ignition, that it turns on. And then if you turn on the ignition, it stays on. This thing cut the power off and then turned it back on. And when I was like, whoa, I was like, this thing stayed on? And the guy was looking at me, he's just like, well, it's supposed to.
Right.
And I was just like, no, it didn't do this before. And he was just like, what? I'm like, it didn't. He's just like, hold on a second. If you turn off your car, did it turn off the head unit? I'm like, yes. He's like, no. When you turn off your car, the unit doesn't turn off until you open up your door.
Right. It's a
And I'm like,
closed
no.
circuit, kind of, you know?
Yeah, I'm like, no, that's not what it was doing. He's just like, well, we fixed it. Thank you. It was one thing I wasn't missing out, but I forgot that my truck used to do that with the old system. And my old truck used to do the same thing, but it's just one of those things that I was just like living with it because it had so many issues, right? So that's the first thing that I noticed. I was just like, dude, that's awesome. Second thing I noticed was the little GPS thing. They put it outside on the dash, but they made it like it's part of the dash.
Very
the
nice.
way they stuck it out there. I'm just like, dude, that looks clean. Next thing he tells me is he's like, yeah, your microphone, when you talk into the mic so that way people could hear you on phone calls, they're like, it's not where it used to be. They put it right in front of my your odometer reader.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of dangling there.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just like, it's not there no more. And I'm just like, where's it at? And he points up, and I look up.
That's where it's supposed to be.
And that's where it's supposed to be. That's where it's at now. I'm just like, holy hell. Like, so then the Fire Stick, the power was plugged into the stereo unit.
Mm-hmm.
They put a dedicated power adapter, USB, connected to a relay. So when I open up my door, that thing stays on, or I'm sorry, it turns off the power. It will cut off, but it's not draining power from the stereo unit anymore, right?
Right.
Now it's a dedicated power port. So I'm like, great. That's awesome. Now this thing works how it's supposed to. The camera, the backup camera, it used to have like these little squiggly lines, like it was like on a weird frequency and stuff.
Yeah.
Because same thing, the power, they actually put a power booster on the stereo to drain more power to power on that camera. They did it the right way and plugged it in how it's supposed to. So now I have a much cleaner picture. So with my little screen, it looked like a 1080p because obviously resolution was smaller.
Mm-hmm.
When I took it to that new car or with the old car unit place where they installed it, it looked more like a 280p where I can tell it's there, but it was just kind of like like static noise on the video.
What the hell?
Now it looks like a 720p because remember, I went from a 5.5-inch screen to a 10.1 inch.
Right.
So the camera is like, cool. It's giving me a really good screen now, how it was before. Not as good as how it was originally, but way better. I can actually see things now. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Yeah. I couldn't get my OnStar back, and I couldn't get my Wi-Fi back because that's stuff that was built in with the truck. So I'm waiting for this company called Maestro to come up with something to hold my factory truck stuff. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I drove home and that sensor error never popped up. Didn't pop up once. Everything on my phone, everything connected properly. There was no hiccups, no issues. Oh, they installed so there's these modules that you put in there so that way everything could work properly. What the old place did was they put the cheapest one that they can into the truck because it's coming out of their pocket to install some of this stuff, right? They gave me a generic one. And the new place, they said no. They actually called the company, and the company's just like, no, you're supposed to put this one. This is the one that you use, and it's their best one to put in there. They're like, this unit with that truck needs this one, and the price difference was pretty big. It wasn't like cheap, you know.
Yeah.
It just made everything. It made everything work.
Did they charge you like a full installation rate, or like how did that work?
They hooked me up. They felt really bad.
Okay.
They felt really bad because they're just like, this sucks. They did have to charge me, but they did hook me up also. And I did ask them about the brain. I recommended where inside where they had that little plastic piece. I'm just like, why don't you fit the brain right in there? I'm like, cut this plastic off because it doesn't look like it's part of the AC. Just cut it out and slide it above instead of the bottom, how they had it like this. Just slide it up. So that's what they did. That's what fixed it. You know what's the last thing they told me that I felt extremely well? When I first went in, they didn't want to do the job. They didn't want to do it because they didn't want to be held responsible if anything breaks and then they get sued, which I understand. Most of these places, not all, actually not most of these places, all these places, if somebody comes in there and starts taking things apart, they become liable, right?
Mhm.
They didn't want to go in there, find something that's broken, and now they're liable even though they didn't break it. He really did not want to do it. And I told him, look, if I need to sign papers saying I will not sue you guys, whatever, I'll sign that. I'm like, and then if at the end of the day you guys get in there and says, you know what, we can't fix this, I'm going to probably end up buying a different one so that way we can make it work. And I'll buy it through you guys and I'll sell the old one because the old one's fine. The last thing he tells me after going, like, that's how our conversation started. He didn't want to do it. Just because they didn't want to get sued. And after they looked it up and did in the inspection and everything, they said, okay, you know what? We could figure it out. We can do it. I had to obviously pay for some extra parts and extra stuff, and then plus the labor and to get everything working. The last conversation we had back in the shop, after I paid him and after we squared up, he says, because we took it apart, because we installed it, that other place did not sell you this unit. We did it.
So they're gonna give you a warranty? Don't tell me they're giving you a warranty.
We are giving you a warranty
That's crazy.
on whatever happens to this thing. You bring it back here. Nowhere else.
Wow.
We'll take care of you.
That's cool.
I
How
told
far is the
him
place from your house?
about 30 to 40 minutes.
It's worth it. I mean,
Yeah, it's worth it. Big time. I'll Uber that drive no matter what if I have to. I felt so good. I told him, I was like, you know what? You could have charged me full price on the installation. I would have paid it just because of that warranty, man. Like and I told him, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna bring another car pretty soon, so that way you guys could install a sub and an amp
Mm.
on a different car that I got. I'm bringing you guys. I don't care if I have to drive out here. I'm like, it's not the drive is not really far if I'm driving it, but if I have to taxi it back home, then it's like, damn it, how much is this going to cost me? You know what I mean?
you know, it's crazy how much good customer service is worth, right? Like you can't put a dollar amount on that, right? Like
Mm-mm.
yeah, maybe initially it can cause a little bit of a headache, maybe you might go out of pocket a bit, but what is your relationship with your customer actually worth? So a past life of Next Level is I used to be what's called a business development manager, and I would basically help companies develop their businesses, right? Companies are really good at doing one thing, which is, their product or their service, but they don't necessarily know how to handle customers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's true, right? It's hard to do both. It's hard to wear all the hats, especially when you're, self-employed or an entrepreneur or a small business. It's hard to wear all the hats. It really is. So a lot of companies fail because they don't understand generally two things, which is like your dollar of acquisition, how much does it cost to actually gain a new customer, and then how much is that customer actually worth to you for their lifespan of being a customer with you, right? And if you're short-sighted on those two things, then you're short-sighted with your business because your customers make your business. Because you had a good experience with them, you're like you're now an investment to that company because you're now vocal about the experience that you had with them, and you also have a platform that you're also vocal on, so you're like exponentially valuable to them, right? Even though you're not, I don't know, did you say directly who it was? I don't.
The guy there,
Yeah, like did
uh,
you say what company it was? Did you shout them out? I don't know.
Alan Eds.
Yeah,
Alan Eds from Ontario,
California, not Canada.
California. Not Canada. Alan Eds. They're the guy in charge. I'm pretty sure he's like the guy in charge. His name's Robert. Um, he is very straightforward. He will not sugarcoat anything. Um, he hooked it up. He fixed it. He fixed my issue. I gotta say, I wanted originally to go to that place, but again, when I was doing my research about the Fire Stick, I called this other place by me near me, and they're the ones that were just like, yeah, we can do it, we can do it. They just wanted me to get in the door and buy, you know.
Yeah, they're short-sighted. They just want you
Yeah.
in and out, take your money and go,
So check this out now. Um, they've definitely gained a customer, so now I'm going back to them no matter what. There is I want to shout out again, I did shout out Angel. He's got a shop out in Utah. I think he's in a little south of Salt Lake City. I also want to shout out Fernando from Five Star Stereo guys. I believe they're called. They're a YouTube channel, and they're also big within the audio industry.
Yeah.
And they're out in Florida. Um, they are ranked like one of the top guys when it comes to like Pioneer and stereo units and having good connections with like Maestro and like these guys are known like for a reason. Like they know their shit. I've seen their videos and everything. But big shout out to those guys because Angel did reach out to Fernando out there, and Fernando was relaying the message over like, oh, maybe try this, like maybe do this, like trying to help me out with my stereo thing, um, which I appreciate. I appreciate both of them. I'm gonna say this though, for me to drive to Angel, which is in Utah, is about a 9-hour drive. Because he has helped me, I'm actually going to make that drive pretty soon. I am looking to do some upgrades. Um, he says they have a 3D printer, which I already told him, let's record this bad boy. He's going to build me, hopefully. I'm hypothetically. Hopefully he still does it for me. But I want to go out there. He says he can do this. Build me a new box so that way we could install a new camera, a new backup camera. So that way the screen size, the 10.1, will look extremely clean.
Mhm.
It looks really, really good, but there's cameras out there that make that thing look amazing. Like
Right.
you see it and you're just like, dude, that looks incredible. So I want to look into that. I want to look into my center console. I have two. Oh, it's funny. I might, I'll see if I can show you this picture while I'm trying to do this. But I have the center console. You got your cups, and then you have your. Here it is. So anybody out there that's watching, you will be able to see it. But anybody who's listening, so what it is, it's a console. You flip it up and it becomes a seat, a center seat, but there's nothing in the, like, you can't open that thing up and there's like a compartment inside. It's cushion. But you see this little piece right there in the middle?
Yeah.
That fits my cell phone, my big ass Note 10.
Yeah.
They sell pieces to make this into a wireless charger.
It only makes sense.
So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing that. The other thing is, I'm looking at mounts. So here's another picture of my unit. You can see how big that screen is. It's pretty big, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I have a. Well, it's a little bit of a glare, but here's a picture. But you see the size of the screen. Do you see the thing that I'm pointing at the bottom?
Yeah.
That's my Osmo action camera.
Yeah.
And I was testing it to see if it's going to suck on that thing. So, or the suction on that thing. There's a clip here. When you push it down, this thing like grabs all the air out and it gets stuck. So I put it there, clipped it, and then I was pushing it down, and the plastic piece on the actual truck was moving with it. And I was like, okay, that's good. That means this thing is stuck on that thing,
Mhm.
As soon as I released the clip, the thing just slid right off. I'm like, dude, this is perfect. So here's another shot of it. You see the little camera?
Yeah.
So there's the camera right there. What I'm trying to do is, and this is the conversation I was having with Digital Slang about getting, did I tell you about this? About getting monitors for my cameras?
What do you mean by monitors?
Oh,
We're in the car?
wait for this one, bro. Ooh, is it this one? Yes, it's this one. So here's the Osmo, or here's the Action 2. This camera, when I take it off, I could put it outside my truck. There's also an adapter, and I could stick this onto my windshield. This magnet thing is extremely strong. This is what I'm looking of doing. This camera, I'm going to take it off. This bracket, I'm going to add a cell phone bracket. So that way it holds it like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a dual bracket where there's one here and there's one right above it. I am buying, if everything goes well with this new phone, the Samsung Galaxy 22 Note, whatever the hell they're calling it. If everything goes really well with that phone, with all the new features that they keep talking about, and if it actually works, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy that phone to be my main phone to record and everything. But I'm going to keep my Note 10.
Yeah.
I'm also going to buy a Note 9. I'm going to put these two phones on this bracket thing. So I have two phones essentially, one on the bottom, one on the top, to use as monitors. And I'm going to use the apps to Wi-Fi into the Action 2 cameras. So when I have one above my truck that I can't see the screen, I have to use a phone to look at it. And I'm going to use it as a monitor to control record, hyperlapse, slow-mo. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be able to see it inside my truck right there in front of me almost.
You think it'll hold all that weight though?
So it did hold this one, and I did push it down. And like I said, it was holding that, like it was pushing that plastic. I have the actual thing coming in today, I believe, maybe tomorrow. I have an extra phone. I also have a light. Oh, I wish I had some of the stuff here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mount everything and I'm gonna clip it on there and see what happens. If it works, I'm golden. If it doesn't work, I am going. Well, I was talking to Angel about this, and he was saying that there's these special mounts that this company sells. That's like premium stuff that you could put it on your dash, and you could make it so that way it holds it in a specific way. I'm gonna see if they do not have anything like that. What I'm gonna do is I want to add some sort of adhesive because so my panel. I don't know if you noticed, but with the panel, I have the knobs for the AC, and then it curves down. When it curves down, I want to put some sort of adhesive thing with possible maybe glass or plastic that will be dedicated just for this. You can't see it, but this thing will be able to stick on it and it will not move. And obviously, there is going to be some weight to it. So I'm trying to make it where, and I think actually, like looking at this thing, this is exactly how it's supposed to mount. Like it mounts like this, and see how it's pointing up. That's how the things are going to be up.
Right.
So, well, actually, like this, because it curves in. So I will be testing that theory out pretty soon because that's exactly what I want to do. I want to. I'm going to use the Note 9 and the Note 10 as little mini monitors so I can connect to the Action 2.
Yeah. I've used a Note 9 as an overhead camera on this setup, and it just imports wirelessly into OBS, and then I do what I have to do. So
It looks good, right?
Yeah, it works good.
Gets the job done.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah.
So that's my next venture on that thing. It's I'm gonna be and with the new phone, the new S22 or whatever the hell it's called. For sure it's called the S22. We just don't know if it's Galaxy Note or just Galaxy or
It's
just
gonna
Note.
be probably called the S22 Galaxy Ultra, Notified Next Level.
So the next venture, well, actually, it's not really well, I guess it is my next venture. So I already have the pieces coming in for this. My next piece of research is how to mount that phone, how to put a bracket inside the truck where it comes out and it records me at the right distance. And I am waiting for those DJI wireless mics so that way I can have one right here. Or find some sort of way to mount it right in front of the steering wheel. So that way, as I'm driving, it's like right here. I could talk to it. I have that mount right there. It's stationary, and as long as the stability is good while I'm driving, it should capture me clean, clear, hands free, and I can control all the cameras. Like it's I'm gonna have a freaking command station right there inside my truck. Anytime I'm driving. But the thing with that is, I want to be able to take that. I don't. Did I tell you I'm going to Hawaii?
Maybe.
So I'm going to Hawaii in May. Those videos for the Travel Channel will probably be coming out sometime in June. I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks, and when I went to Colorado this last Christmas, I don't know if you know. Well, you know, right? I have the backpacks with the drone. I have another backpack with all the cameras.
Yeah.
Dude, I grabbed my suitcase, opened it up. One side of the suitcase was both backpacks. I closed it, zipped it up, and then on the other side of so what I mean by closing and zipping it up, when you open up the suitcase, there's like this flap, like a divider. So I put the backpacks on this side and then I sealed it. And then on the other side of the suitcase, that's where I put all my clothes. It fit good and I was able to travel with it. So I want to be, and I have this little mini case that's coming for the DJI Action and for all for the self. It's gonna hold the cell phones. It's gonna hold the adapters. The adapters are gonna be like preset, ready to go. Everything's gonna be ready to go. What I'm trying to do is, if once I go to Hawaii, and I rent some kind of car and I put the little camera on top so that way it could record as I'm going. I want to be able to grab this thing, stick it on whatever I want, have it suction in, and I'm good to go.
Good to go.
Rohas on the go.
Good to go. I mean, the only thing that I upgraded recently was my, I guess you call it my studio. I call it my battle station now.
Come a little closer to the mic.
It's my battle station. I upgraded my battle station. So Preppy. So here's the thing, and everyone who's like close to me knows, crypto's my life now. And that's all I spend my money on now. It's just crypto related stuff. So like when Preppy would come with me to the computer stores, I would look at things and say, this is pretty cool. And then turn around and be like, they have any graphics cards? No? All right, peace. I wouldn't buy anything. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I showed her a few times was the Samsung G9 Odyssey monitors, the stupid, ridiculous, large 49-inch monitors that Samsung makes. And I never in my life thought that I would get to use one, but it was always really cool. And one of the computer stores that I would frequent had this monitor hooked up to the Logitech steering wheel. Mm-hmm. And it was a sick experience when you saw it in the store. And I was always go by and check it out and just feel the vibrations of the steering wheel rumble and, look at the screen and how it wraps around you. It's got that 1000R curve. And I was always like, yeah, this is cool. Check this out. Cause you probably never seen something like this, So she knew that I would never buy this for myself. It's not something that I would spend my money on. Right. So she bought it for me for Christmas. And I didn't even know what to say because, these monitors are not cheap. And prior to this monitor, I was using a 32-inch Dell monitor curved. I mean, it was basic and it was good. It wasn't meant for gaming, but I don't really game. So it was a good enough experience. And then off to my right-hand side, I had two 24-inch LG monitors on a stand that swiveled. And I would use those 3 monitors to do everything that I needed to do. Like I have obviously my computer here. I have a mining rig over there that I connected to one of the screens. And then I had an HDMI splitter that went from either like a Fire Stick, an Android box, or anything with an HDMI input. And it would be displayed on one of the monitors. And then the other side of the splitter would go into a recorder so that I could import it as a source through OBS. Right. So I had everything and it was all set up and it was all working great. And I was like, how am I going to do this? It took me like a good solid month to really set up this monitor to understand how am I going to change my desk? Because it's the size of my desk. And I thought that I would still have to use my 2 other 24-inch LGs that were on a swivel. But when you look at it, I had 2 24-inch monitors and a 32. Like the amount of space that those 3 monitors were taking up in my battle station was a lot. And then when I put this monitor here, it actually takes up almost less room than all 3 of those monitors. And I thought I would still have to use the 2 other monitors because of the inputs, or maybe get like an HDMI hub that I could switch sources. So I was looking into getting an HDMI hub and, which one's good? How do I use it? Do I want to just plug everything into the hub and then plug the hub into my monitor and I can switch back and forth? But then I realized that this monitor comes with a feature. It's got picture in picture and picture by picture. And I've never seen picture by picture before. I don't even know if it's on other monitors. I don't know if that's a feature that's included. I didn't even know that it's essential to life. Like if I'm looking for monitors in the future, That's a feature I'm going to be checking for. Does it have picture by picture? And what that means is you can take two sources and plug it into your monitor and display them both. It splits your screen directly in half, and you have one source on the right and one source on the left. And it makes the 49-inch monitor into essentially two 27-inch monitors with no bezel. There's no bezel because it's the same monitor. It's the truth. It's crazy. So now what I do, I know I only said two sources, right? So now what I do, because I still use three sources, and this is how I do it. I have the two coming in, and then I run the third source directly into my HDMI recorder in my computer. And then I just input it as an OBS source. And then I just have the three of them on my same screen if I want to. So it's kind of cool that I was able to get more room and still be able to do everything that I needed to do with better quality. Because one of my concerns, and you've been on me about it, Preppy's been on me about it, Digital Slang's always on my case for some shit, but I didn't want to go up to the Rodecaster because of the size of the Rodecaster. The Rodecaster is not a small mixer, and the mixer I had before, it's right here. It's not that big. It was
like
nice.
a 2-channel.
Yeah, but how many people are in here when I'm recording? It's just me, bro. Right? Like, this thing did the job for me, and it took up less room, right? So I was always worried, like, I'm not going to have a lot of room on my desk once I set up the Rodecaster. And I like to have room because I'm always working on stuff. Maybe I need to move stuff out of the way because maybe I'm doing an overhead shot of something I'm unboxing. I need to have space. So that was one of my concerns. So once I was able to set up the Samsung G9 and actually get more space on my desk, I know it sounds weird. I put up a 49-inch monitor and got more space on my desk. I hooked up the Rodecaster at the same time. So it's interesting when technology helps get you to that next level, you know?
Oh man, here we go.
The next level.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Now, am I
I
trying to
get it.
justify the price of this thing? I don't know, because these things are expensive. They're very, very expensive. But at the same time, to me, okay, so when you first start using a monitor of this size, you understand that things that you never thought of, you actually have to change to make it better with productivity, right? For instance, something as simple as all of your icons on your desktop are saved to the left-hand side. Well, with a 49-inch monitor, the left-hand side is all the way down there. You see what I'm saying? Like, even like today when we were recording earlier, I said, "Look, I did it. I needed to do this. I couldn't figure it out. I figured it out." So down below your toolbar, all of your icons and your shortcuts are saved to the left-hand side. So ideally on this monitor, if you're sitting in front of it, I want everything right in the middle. I want all of my icons in the middle, and I want all of the icons on the toolbar below all on the middle row. And you're able to do it, but that's something you never would have thought of unless you had a ginormous ass monitor. You actually have to change how your setup is visually in order to make yourself more productive. It's cool. I'm super excited about, you know, being able to do this. It's crazy because I think it's actually better for productivity, even though before I had it on different monitors, it's less of head movement. So like before, if I was working on this monitor and I was also working on my computer, it's like I would always have to kind of like switch back and forth and I'd have to move my whole body. But right now, because it's all on the same display, I literally just have to look left and right. I don't have to move my body at all. So it's kind of cool. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just saying initially it was kind of overwhelming because you feel like if you put everything on the screen, like you're looking too far away to see something. But you get used to it, and it like once you get used to it, it's pretty dope. I hope they come down in price, and I hope that, you know, they become more of a common thing. I'm not like, maybe not everyone needs a 49-inch, but I think that the standard, you know, back in the day, the standard for the old CRT monitors was like a 15-inch. If you had a 19-inch CRT monitor, you were balling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And same thing with phones, right? You had the Samsung Mega that was like 7-inch. You were balling, bro. Like, what do you got such a big phone for, right? And now that the size of the Samsung Mega is like your standard size phone, even your standard size phone is probably bigger than the Mega because of the bezels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, what's the standard size of a monitor? It's not 21 inches. It's not 24 inches. I think the average person now has somewhere around like a 27 to a 32. Like as a main monitor. Secondary monitors might be bigger or smaller. I know that you have two monitors there that are like, I think 21 inches.
19 and a half.
19 and a half. See, but those are not your main monitor. Your main monitor is always going to be like somewhere around 27 to 32. And then what? Maybe next 5 years, it's going to be a 35.
I don't know what size this one is. I know it's widescreen, curved. I'll need to look it up because I got this like what 2 years ago, 2 Christmases ago for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to throw that in there. I had to buy this for myself.
I bought this for myself.
Nobody gifted me a 49-inch monitor, damn it.
I know. Damn it.
Whatever. You get enough gifts.
Thanks. So I did want to bring up, we had every now and then we get some comments that are pretty hilarious. Pretty hilarious. Sometimes they're just like, dude, you have nothing else better to do. And some of us content creators, we talk to several people and sometimes we share some of the funny. I actually had one person just recently that was blowing me up. I did a review on that Walmart on TV stick. And they're just like, why would you waste your time reviewing this hunk of junk? Next comment. Do we need to have another video of this piece of crap stick? And I'm stating it in the video, like this thing is horrible. But you guys wanted me to do it, so I'm doing it. I'm reviewing it. And and my last video was, don't dump your Fire Stick. This is like the worst stick I've ever used before. And his comment was unsubbing.
Good. Be gone.
You know what I commented?
Peace.
Like I think I put like 3 or 5 peace signs. And it's just like, bro, really, I got under your skin because that. Why are you watching? You see the title.
Yeah, it's not even clickbait. It's not like, is this better than the 4K Fire Stick ×2 to the max?
It's literally on TV stick. This is not 2K. You will not believe what I found. This is the worst streaming stick I've ever touched. This is why. Like literally, it won't, and then the icon will show the Walmart on stick on there. And then somebody else was replying saying, like, oh yeah, he's like, I think this is the 3rd video that he's done on this, but he's showing like different features of it, but this thing is horrible. And then that one guy that's being freaking YouTube police, I guess, was like, this is such a waste of time. I totally agree that this stick is horrible. And he's just like, yeah, like, you know, like he's showing us like everything that's on here and blah, blah, blah. And there's some people that are saying like, hey, thanks for the information. I won't buy this stick. And there's some people saying like, hey, I actually like this stick. It doesn't matter if it's fast or not for me. It does its job. I don't need it to go fast.
There's some people using the 2nd gen Fire Stick and they're happy.
Exactly.
They're
like, cool. Dude, you saw the title, no clickbait whatsoever, and you're pissed. I'm unsubbing. And you know what's funny? They're going to come back as soon as I put another video out that they're interested in. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, what was that? Where's my pen and paper? You know, just like, whatever. Brandon.
You know, there's something that needs to be said in regards to content creation. I am a person that usually likes to have my hands in a lot of different things. And I get projects that I'm working on, solo projects, generally things that, I come up with on my own to a certain level. And then I leave it and I jump onto something else because I know that something else needs to happen. Either something needs to happen externally or internally for me to get that project to the next level. Yes, you heard it. Either it's an external factor, or when I say internal, I need to learn how to get it to where it needs to be. And I'm not there yet. Doesn't mean that I'm quitting that project or that job. It just means that something needs to happen. And in the meantime, I'm working on something else. And there's a lot of times where it may look like I drop something like a hot potato and I'm just a quitter, but that just means that I'm waiting for the time to be right to resurface certain things. Because there's projects that I've been working on for the last 4 years periodically that are still not done yet and are actually being revisited this month. Like, it's some crazy, stupid stuff that I'll come up with, and maybe nobody else finds a purpose for it. But I like that thrill of being able to create something. You know what I mean? And you don't always have the tools in your bat belt to do everything. So it is what it is. But being a content creator, you constantly have the struggle between what's going to get you views and what's going to keep you happy and sane, right? A lot of the ones, when I say the ones, a lot of the people in the content creator space have been very comfortable and very happy making content that is no longer acceptable on the platform. So what do you do? Some people have tried to blur things. Some people have tried to change the way they make it, but it doesn't change the fact that the platform doesn't want that content, right? So you either, in my opinion, you have two choices. You find something else that you're able to continue to make views from, which, and I'm not trying to say it's all about money, but we have to understand when a significant portion of your income gets sliced, chopped, and deleted, what do you do as a person that needs to survive? So you either, one, find something that does get views, or two, find something that makes you happy, and eventually the views will come.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Just to piggyback on that, I was thinking about this maybe like 2 days ago. Um, I was like, end of the day, let me take a shower. And normally when I'm in the shower, I like to turn it like really hot. And that's kind of like my detox. Like, I used to go to the gym and after my workouts, go to the steam room. And I used to just sit like they had like this long U-shaped bench. I used to sit in the steam room and just kind of like meditate. I would literally like just sit there and then just let my thoughts go and just listen to music and I'm good, right? So I'm in my shower and I have a three. I don't know if you knew this, but I have a 3-head shower. I have one that goes right above my head, like rain. I got one that comes this way at this angle, and then I have one on the side that comes as a wand. So I got 3 points, and I turn on the heat. I'm like, let me get it steamy in here. And I started thinking about this. I was like, damn. I'm like, because I've been, my travel channel's back, and I'm losing subscribers. And it's because that channel used to be my backup channel for my tech channel. But I'm not doing tech no more. I'm doing travel. So people are just like, I don't want to see this. I came here for tech and I'm leaving. Cool. I get it. That's the only channel that I'm just like, damn, I'm trying to grow it back so that way I can get the watch time hours and get it monetized again. I ran into something very similar with the Rohas reviews, Rohas tutorials, Cody tutorials channel, where I switched from Cody to streaming apps to just general tech. That channel blew up really, really fast. And then I started to change the content and then it started to slow down. and then I drastically changed the content, and then it was leveling off where I wasn't losing. I was gaining more than what I was losing. And I thought about this. I'm like, dude, this sucks. I'm like, I'm doing these videos on some travel stuff that's fun, and I'm seeing people that are other travel channels that are blowing up, that are doing great. And then I had to stop and think about this. I'm like, wait a second. When I blew up, how many people were doing videos on the K app?
There wasn't very many.
There wasn't very many.
Right. And we're getting into niches that are more, they're more dense.
Very,
Yeah.
very competitive. Like the travel stuff, there is a lot of people out there with travel. There's a lot of people out there vlogging. It's like I literally threw that channel, the World of Rohas channel, to Rohas Travels, into an extremely, and actually, you remember it was called Laughs?
Mm-hmm.
I threw that channel, that was my backup tech channel, into an extremely competitive Shark Tank. It's there's no mercy in there, you know what I mean? So we began our conversation of like, oh, I'm trying to get phones to use as monitors for my action cameras, or I'm trying to get my stereo system to work better so I could do more things with it. Like there's so many things that I'm trying to do. And it's kind of like I just dropped something. I don't know where it went. Yeah, it's like I was just thinking there, like, damn, like I used to just drop this like the 10 best, 10 5, best 3, best, the best app of the month or whatever. Like I would like best build, best this, best that, easiest settings, real to brid, like all these things of how to supercharge stuff. And it's just like you said, like some of those topics are not wanted no more. They're not, they're just being kicked off completely, even if it's legal. I could say, hey, this is the best app, the best Kodi add-on, and I could show YouTube and say, like, look, you can get YouTube in Kodi, and the free movies and TV shows that you get within YouTube, you can find that in Kodi also.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Using the
They don't
YouTube
care.
app. They don't care. Doesn't matter. It's the K app out,
Mhm.
gone, even though it's not bypassing anything.
Yeah, even people that are making reviews of legitimate applications, like, I don't know, Tubi TV, or let's say, right?
Mhm.
They're getting striked and flagged and banned. Like YouTube's done with you. They're done with that BS, and they're moving on. They don't care. I had to sit down and really think about it. I've done a couple unboxing videos, and to be very frank, I don't like unboxing videos. That's not me. That's not my style. Like I really like getting in depth with, software applications and stuff like that. And I like to do something on a screen and share that screen and show it. And then that's when I started really getting into, charting analysis, stock trading and crypto and stuff like that. And if I'm passionate about that and I enjoy doing that, then I might as well share that stuff too. That's where I'm kind of going. If that's what I enjoy. And every time I post a video, I lose 2 to 5 subscribers.
Mhm.
You know what? Cool. Eventually it's going to come to a point where I gain 2 to 5 subscribers a video, and those people are going to have the same kind of interest that I'm interested in.
Mhm.
And then that's where it's worth it, right? When we first got into this, we never thought that, we would have channels of 5 to 10 to 15 to 100,000, 150,000 people that are subscribed to our channels. So why is it now that when we pivot, we think that we deserve it?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's
You would
just
have
kind of,
your, you have your small fan base. We have people that followed us on Beyond the Streams from our channels. And, like we thank everybody who's been here listening to us and watching us. We try to bring you guys as much info as we can, without getting in trouble. And yeah, it's like for me, I never was a big fan of unboxing videos either. I came to like it because I'm playing with toys. Like I'll get like some, like, you just look at my wall in the back. Like this thing up here right next to the YouTube plaque, it's a translator earbuds that you can travel anywhere around the world and understand people. I have 2 of them back there. Amazing. Over here, that yellow box back there from neat microphones from Turtle Beach, awesome to play with. Here, there's this thing called Barzy. The Barzi's the coaster. Like I showed Nix of all this alcohol that I bought because I'm playing around with this thing, and I'm gonna do a follow-up video because this thing's been fun.
Yeah, it's made you an alcoholic. That's what it's made you.
It's like
Damn
8 o'clock in
drunkard.
the morning. I'm like, I'm drinking coffee with some coffee liqueur. You're like, what are you doing? But in Tilted Nation, here's another one. Some of the best mouses, even if it's just even if you don't want it to use it for gaming, just one of the most simplest out of the box experience that I've ever had amongst a lot of mouses. And it's not just that. If you look at here, obviously I've cleaned up my mess a little bit, and you can tell I'm starting to gain another mess. But I love playing with some of this stuff. I've been able to find things like this, the Action Camera 2, or the Osmo Action. A lot of cool stuff, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. And at the end of the day, when we do ask people to, hey, leave us a comment, it's not just to leave us a comment so we could work the algorithm. We want to know who's listening. We want to know who's out there. We want to know your feedback, because every time you leave us that feedback, every time you leave us a review, if you're listening to us in the audio and you leave us anything, that's good, because we know what you're listening for. We know what you're listening to, and we know what you like or don't like. Some people have told us, like, dude, amazing show. Awesome. We go in there and we already know what we talked about. Some people might say, like, hey, you know what? That feature on that Fire Stick that you were talking about, I didn't know about that. Thank you.
Yeah, even the devices that we may take a crap on, we still show some shit about it that people who actually own it might not know about. Right? Like that on stick. Even though you crapped on it, you were still showing how to navigate it, how to do certain things, and how the features work in it, or how they don't work in it. So if people are trying to, if they own it already, try to do it, well, shit, you can't do it that way. Maybe you got to do it this way.
Yeah. Yeah. So make sure you guys do leave us comments and all that crap. Because it does, for one, it does help. It definitely does help when you do that, when you hit the thumbs up and share and all that crap. It does. But I say crap for a reason. And next I was like, what? I like more of the interaction. When you do leave us a comment, it gives us who you are. There's so many people that we've met through just the comment section that is not crap. That builds a relationship between us. And when you guys come to the live shows, for example, you talk with us. We've met so many people doing our stuff. Like every time we do giveaways, we have people jump on with us and talk to us for a minute. It's awesome. And we've met so many. We have Telegram groups with hundreds of people that are communicating with us. It's awesome. That's what I love, the communication part. It's amazing. So do that for us. One more thing, last thing. We're gonna try to do it less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. Oculus 2 versus the PS VR.
Are we doing that?
We are doing it. We are doing it. Now, obviously, we can't speak on PS
what's it? VR.
Yeah, we can't speak on the PlayStation VR 2. But Next Level's been able to get the Oculus 2. I'm curious because I'm holding back on getting the Oculus 2 because I want that PSVR 2. And I am assuming that a lot of these features and games will be available on that PSVR 2. So what has been your experience so far? What have you played? How are you playing with other people that are not in your house? I need
to take 10 steps back and just tell you what my experience was before I bought it. Right. So when we started this podcast, we started talking about your truck and about, how customer service plays a big part in your relationship with companies and products and all that stuff. When I went, okay, uh, another step before that, it's Preppy and I's anniversary. And she's like, hey, if you need an idea what to buy me, get me a Ring Fit. And I was like, F that, I ain't getting you no damn Ring Fit. I want an Oculus Quest, and you're gonna get one, and I'm sure there's apps on there for fitness, right? So I was like, and then I was like, if she really wants a Ring Fit, maybe I should just get her a Ring Fit. And then we were sitting there the day before we were gonna like give each other the presents or whatever, and I was like, she's like, do you know what I was gonna buy you? And I'm like, what? She's like, you really wanted that Oculus. And I was like, shit, I was going to buy you the Oculus too. So we literally jumped in our car and drove to Best Buy, and she bought one for me and I bought one for her.
Wow. It's like defeats the purpose. It's like,
but at the same time, we can play with each other because it does have multiplayer games. I don't know where you're going with that kind of look, but it's got party chat and all that kind of stuff. And she checked out a couple of the videos, a couple of the games and stuff, and she thought it was pretty cool, right? Then we went to Best Buy, and this guy was at the cash register right next to the whole cage of all the Oculus Quest, which one was really strange for me to see because we're dealing with a shortage. And you can't find PlayStations or Xboxes, but I have a whole shelf full of Oculus Quests. I'm like, interesting. Okay. So one, I was thinking this might be a good transitionary console because a lot of people used to get, a PlayStation or an Xbox, and then they would get a secondary console like a Wii, a Switch, a DS, something along those lines, right? So now this is going to be some really good competition for Nintendo. That's what I was thinking, because Nintendo usually, for at least the people that are over puberty, wasn't the first pick of your consoles. Maybe that's a boomer thing. I don't know. I digress. Anyways, so his badge says whatever his name was. I can't remember his name, but then it says in training under it, right? And I'm like, all right, I want to get an Oculus Quest. What can you tell me about it? And this man went off on a whole tangent, bro. Told me how he lost 100 pounds playing this thing because you're actually moving. You're not sitting there. Like, you're actually moving and you're doing tasks and you're doing things just like you would in the real world. Maybe not to that exact same like stretch. Like, maybe you're not a professional level boxer and you're not going 10 rounds as a professional level boxer would. But at the same time, you're standing there and you're deking and you're dodging and you're throwing punches for 15 minutes. I go up the stairs, I'm out of breath, bro. So anything I do is going to be good. Like, the guy wasn't a small guy. He lost 100 pounds and he's still not a small guy, but it's progress, right? So then you ever meet those kind of people that are like too honest? So he like would explain things like, I tell you about this, but I was too high. And like, he's like selling me this product and he's going on and on and on. But his customer service was so good because he was so honest and gave me real world experiences. So Oculus Quests are sold in two different models, and you're probably going to be like, why would I get that? One model has 128 gigs of memory onboard storage, and the second one has 256. Now, you and I would immediately say, well, give me the 256. What the hell am I going to do with 128, right? Yeah, everybody who bought the 256 regrets it. Every single person. The games are only about 1 gig to 2 gigs in size. Not like a PlayStation or an Xbox game that are like 50 to 100 gigs. So you can download and install like 100 games. Who the hell is going to play 100 games? You see what I'm saying? So if you are planning on getting a Quest, this is a shout out. Just go with the 128. You're going to be more than happy. A lot of cool games. I watched a lot of videos before actually getting the Quest 2, and I can honestly say, no matter what video you watch, it doesn't do it justice. like nothing. There is full depth perception in this VR world. It doesn't connect to a TV. However, you can cast what you see to a phone or a castable device like a Fire Stick. So somebody else that's sitting there laughing at you because of how goofy you look and you moving around in these really weird movements can see what you see, and it makes sense. You know what I mean? I think that's how the YouTubers do it. They probably cast it to a device and then record the casting and then put a green screen behind them, and then they look like they're actually in that area with you. But you're viewing it in a 2D experience. You're not getting the full 3D experience. So just, I guess, to tell you kind of how it works, it has the goggles that go over, and you adjust it up and down depending on if it's blurry. It needs to be at a certain, I guess, whatever. So if it's blurry, you just kind of adjust it up and down. The lenses itself inside of the headset can go left and right because everyone's face is a little bit different. Also comes with a bracket if you wear glasses that you can put on it so that it sticks out a little bit further and it's comfortable if you're wearing glasses. So they've thought of that. It's not, you don't even notice it really on your head when you get into it. It's not that heavy. Maybe when you first take it out of the box, you're like, oh, it has a little bit of a weight to it, but you don't notice it at all when you're playing. That controllers are kind of like a Wii experience. And it's crazy because in the VR world, you can see where the remotes are. You can actually, like, if you put it down, you can see where they are to pick them back up without taking off your headset. It's trippy. So usually you have to draw what I think they call it like a guardian boundary around yourself so that, you know, if you get close to that boundary, you step out of it. It kind of gives you like a virtual wall that you're getting close to your boundaries. Like, you know, but in most games, what you need to realize is you don't really need to move your feet. Both joysticks or both remotes have joysticks on them. So if you need to move around, you use those. But in the games, generally, you're just moving your body, like leaning left, right. You might duck. Some games like table tennis, you can actually set where the floor is by touching the floor with the remote in your hand, and then you play your table tennis that way. And table tennis is actually a really fun game. I think it's called Table 11. That's a really fun game to play with a partner, like somebody else that's not even in your location. And when you're playing table tennis, this is how real it is. You're in a loft with a bed, stairs, skylight windows, TV. Your score for the table tennis shows up on the TV as well. You can see the other person and how they're moving around and moving their head, and you can look all around. Like it gives you a full immersive experience in anything that you do in it, it's a trip. I honestly think that it's probably console wise the best console that everybody needs to experience, even if you don't keep it for a long period of time. And what I mean by that is I'm recommending that you buy it to experience the VR experience. And then if you wanted to experience the VR experience through PlayStation, that I don't think it'd be very difficult to sell it.
So I heard you say that you could play. You could play with somebody else that's not in the same room as you or not in the same location. Can you play with somebody in the same room?
Yes. So, but it's the same kind of idea. So Preppy and I were playing in the same room, but we both had to have our own Oculus Quest in order to do it. You can't, like, obviously, right?
Yeah.
You just want to make sure that you each have about a 5x5 kind of area that you could kind of do that in, right? You don't want to be punching each other in the face and stuff like that. Right. You want to give yourself a little bit of a room. It also says that it doesn't recommend playing it outside, but I've done it in a garage to show somebody. So it can be done. It probably means that outside you may not have the best Wi-Fi connectivity, and it's probably not waterproof. So if you F it up, that's on you.
Yeah.
But it can be done.
So I'm curious.
The way the headset works is it doesn't cover your ears, and it almost has like, you don't even see it, but the sound is like directionally pointed at your ears. So people around you don't hear much of it, but you can hear everything that's going on in your virtual world, but you can also hear what's going on around you. Now, I've been told by other people who have it that it's a more immersive experience when you sync a Bluetooth headphone and you actually put it on when you're wearing it. I've been told, but for me, I've been actually really happy with how the sound works because I can hear everything around me and I can also hear the in-game, right? So it
Yeah.
does have it's made by Facebook because Facebook bought Meta. So it also does sync up to your Facebook. And it also, if you allow the permissions and whatever, it'll tell you who else on your Facebook owns an Oculus. And it also has Facebook Messenger. You can get your notifications from your phone. It has all that kind of stuff. So it does have, when you add people to your friends list, and you don't have to search through Facebook. You can actually search usernames and stuff like that, just like you would on any other console. You can add them to your friends list and you can create party chats. I haven't tested the party chats yet because anytime I've been playing with somebody, they've been in the same room and it just causes an echo because I can hear them in real life. It doesn't make sense to hear them in the console too. So I just mute it, which is you have the option to mute it as well, just like you would in any other situation. So there is the option for party chats.
Yeah, it's interesting. I did want to talk about PSVR 2, but you went on forever on the Oculus 2.
I fucking love the thing. What can I tell?
But I'm interested to see if because we don't know what's coming out yet for PSVR 2. We've seen how the new setup is going to be, and rumored, and it looks like it's going to be pretty nice. As far as games go, I'm going to be very curious to see how the Oculus. Well, right now it sounds like the Oculus 2 is doing really well, and I'm interested in it for sure. I'm very interested in it. I'm probably gonna do some research on the games and see what kind of games came out for the PSVR 1, to see if it's comparable, and if it's about the same, then I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
There is a way. Now I haven't done it personally, but there is a way to sync Steam games to your Oculus Quest 2. Which Steam has a pretty big library. Now, I don't know anything about it. I know that you have to kind of install third-party software and then kind of like cast it over some shit. I don't know, but it is possible. So library games can be expanded, I guess, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to start wrapping it up. I got to get going here now. But I hope you guys appreciated the video and the audio. Hope you guys appreciated the show. Going to be bringing you guys more of Beyond the BS stuff. This is stuff that we're kind of playing with, stuff that we're kind of doing, stuff that's in our lives. And yeah, always interested in some cool things like this. So let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, always leave us a review, smash that thumbs up, make sure you guys share the video. Let us know what you guys think. And I'm always interested to see. I'm going to be checking this one out for sure. This Oculus one. So anything you got to say before we get the hell out of here?
You know what I say. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Beyond the Streams. Wherever you guys are listening to the audio, make sure that you leave us a review so other people like yourself can find the content that you enjoy. If you're looking to come over and be a part of the conversation, be a part of the community, make sure that you are subscribed to the Beyond the Streams YouTube channel. We do live streams every Thursday, roughly around 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you can comment and be a part of the conversation live. If you are also looking to follow us wherever we drop our information, drop our content, make sure that you are also subscribed to the BS Clips channel, where you'll get small little bite-sized versions and clips of the longer conversations. You never know if you've missed an episode. Maybe you'd like to relive a small part. BS Clips is a great place to do that. We have all different kinds of content, from tech-related conversations to news, streaming, gaming, cryptocurrency, and we also bring on other content creators and companies for products that you probably use every day, or products that you might or should be using every day. So make sure you have the notification bell turned on and you're following us everywhere that you should. Until next time, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.